Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH the Flame Emperor episode number 64 based on novel. So let's start. Master, this Dodi river seems to have no end, and it looks like it's going farther and farther. Xiao Yan also flew in Dodi river for a long time, and also found something wrong. Hehe, you're going to the right place. This is just some means of defense for the owner of the 10th rank Do Emperor body. After all, this 10th rank Do Emperor's body is not only extremely powerful in this burning incense pavilion, it is the only one that terrifies the entire Xian Santian, so some special methods are reasonable. Having said that, but in my eyes, it's just a blindfold, and it's not very useful. The Golden Dragon King also smiled slowly, obviously gaining a lot of dragon energy in the secret realm of the Yin Corpse Forest, which made the Golden Dragon King's strength. It has also recovered a lot. Xiao Yan can hear that his master, the Golden Dragon King, now has a lot of confidence. This confidence often comes from strong strength. According to Xiao Yang's guess, the current strength of his master, the Golden Dragon King, is not as strong as that of the Shenling King, but he is definitely not weaker than Mu Shuzi. Chang Yu is a strong man of the 7-star Do Emperor. As for their deputy hall master, Mu Shuzi, his strength should be stronger than Chang Yu. The strength of King Shenling is that he stepped into the realm of 9-star Do Emperor and entered the realm of rank 9. Therefore, the current strength of his master Jinlong King should be between Mu Shuzi and Shenling King. Wait a minute. Just as Xiao Yang came to a place where the light was not very bright, the voice of the Golden Dragon King appeared. Huh! Hearing this, Xiao Yang also stopped his speed, and then stood blankly above the void of Dodi River. The energy fluctuations here. It seems to be different from other places. Xiao Yang also discovered something after careful investigation. It seems that the space around him is quite strange. The other forces in this space are far away, as if they are very afraid of the space where Xiao Yang is. Roar. The Golden Dragon King also snorted viciously at the space in front of him, and then Xiao Yang also discovered that the space in front of him seemed to have some squirming changes under the roar of his master, the Golden Dragon King. In the sky originally covered with white light, a golden door appeared at this time, and I don't know where it leads. Follow me. The Golden Dragon King also said, and then walked in first. When Xiao Yang heard the words, he hurriedly followed. Just stepping into the doorway in front of him, Xiao Yang's first feeling was that he had entered a strange space. However, I remembered what Mu Shuzi said, so I thought that coming to this strange space was also a space to obtain the body of a Do Emperor. Be careful, this is an independent space, and it should be the place where the 10th rank Do Emperor's body exists. However, the 10th rank Do Emperor's body is not so easy to obtain. The Golden Dragon King's voice also said slowly. Xiao Yang and the Golden Dragon King, when their figures moved, the scene in front of them also changed, and the next moment, their eyes brightened. The first thing that caught Xiao Yang's eyes was a relatively flat piece of land. On top of the ground, the golden soil also attracted Xiao Yang's attention. How come the soil here is golden? Xiao Yang also wondered, and the next moment, a huge soul force was instantly covered. Shabu. At the moment when Xiao Yang's enormous soul power appeared, the golden soil also changed, and then at a speed visible to the naked eye, it devoured the invisible soul power displayed by Xiao Yang. What exactly is this golden clay? It can actually devour my soul power. Xiao Yang was also shocked. Obviously he did not expect that the seemingly ordinary golden clay in front of him contained such terrifying power. Moreover, it was the first time that Xiao Yang saw such a strange phenomenon, and he immediately looked around with vigilance. His eyes kept sweeping back and forth, and he found that nothing was out of the ordinary, and then he frowned. Could it be wrong? Xiao Yang also said. Because what appeared in front of Xiao Yang at this time was only a piece of extremely flat golden soil, and as for the land, there was nothing. Master. Xiao Yang also raised his voice by a few decibels, and then slowly faced his master Jinlong Wang Dao standing above his head. Looks like we did nothing wrong. The body of the 10th rank fighting emperor should be here. The Golden Dragon King also laughed. The next moment, the Golden Dragon King also continued, look at the golden clay in front of you and show your spiritual power. Yeah. Xiao Yang heard that, although he didn't know why, he suppressed his curiosity, then closed his eyes, and communicated with the inscription of magic movement in the depths of Nigong Wan in his body. Boom boom boom. Xiao Yang also directly summoned the Divine Movement Core inscription, and then an invisible force slowly radiated from the Divine Movement Core inscription. Immediately, an invisible spiritual force also filled this golden land. Just as Xiao Yang opened his eyes, he felt a strange aura, and then the next moment, the golden soil beneath his feet seemed to have life, and an ancient aura appeared instantly along with the golden light that filled the entire space. With the appearance of golden rays of light, above the originally empty golden land, a splendid golden hall slowly rose up. The main hall is in the shape of a circle, and it seems to be closed, and there is no trace of it from the outside, but it is certain that this main hall should be the place where the body of the 10th rank Do-D is stored. Besides this hall, the most striking thing is the top of the hall. Somewhere, there seems to be a lifelike statue. The statue stood slowly, pointing at the sky with one hand, and the other hand behind the back opened her mouth slightly, obviously telling something. If you look closely, you can see that the pupil of the statue is between the eyes. It also slowly exudes a different look. A statue can actually do so much, and the person who carved it is enough to be called a master craftsman. I don't know why, the moment Xiao Yan saw this statue, he felt a sense of fear in his heart. It's like the statue is alive. This breath. Immortal Emperor. The Golden Dragon King's voice increased a few decibels obviously, and then stared at the top of a great hall. On the top of the main hall, a statue is slowly standing on it, and even if they were far apart, Xiao Yan could feel an aura of destruction from this statue. Immortal Emperor? Xiao Yan was also puzzled, and then looked at his master, the Golden Dragon King, with a murmur. I didn't expect to meet the Immortal Emperor here. There was still a lot of surprise in the voice of the Golden Dragon King, and after a short period of surprise, he also recovered, and then his eyes sank slightly, and he said, "This Immortal Emperor is a hero. Remember that tens of thousands of years ago, the aliens invaded the human world on a large scale. With his own strength, this Immortal Emperor forcibly resisted the two Emperor-level powerhouses of the aliens." Jin Long's flat voice, but hearing Xiao Yang's ears, there was a violent wave. Relying on your own strength to deal with two Emperor-level powerhouses from outsiders? Xiao Yang heard the words, his pupils shrank tightly, and then he said incredulously, "The two Emperor-level foreign evil clan powerhouses, what does this mean?" Xiao Yang is very clear. The strength of the alien race is divided into 5 stages, which are the 5 realms of the Emperor of Heaven and Earth. Heaven-level aliens are the weakest, and King-level aliens are the strongest. But this Emperor-level alien from the outside world, you don't need to think about it, the strength is definitely comparable to their human-level powerhouse. Even if the strength of the evil race outside the territory is not good enough, it is still comparable to the strong human beings fighting immortals. The Immortal Emperor relied on the 10th rank Do Emperor to deal with the two Emperor-level foreign evil races. How could Xiao Yang not be shocked by this? And the most important thing is that this Immortal Emperor is just a Do Emperor powerhouse at the pinnacle of the 9-star Do Emperor. However, they were able to resist the two alien races that were comparable to the level of human beings fighting immortals. This was what surprised Xiao Yang the most. Some things, I will tell you slowly in the future. Now, let me tell you something first. The war tens of thousands of years ago was tragic. That would be at a time when our 7 realms were constantly fighting infighting, and the evil race from outside the territory led countless strong men to arrive in an instant. At that time, the 7 realms were also forced to end the infighting, because they knew that no matter how huge the resources and territory of each of the 7 realms were, if they were invaded by this evil race outside the realm, then it won't be their turn to fight for infighting, so this is the first time to end the infighting, condensing the battle of the supreme powers from the entire 7 worlds and countless planes. That battle lasted for several years, and in the end, at the cost of our 7 realms, we managed to repel the evil race from outside the territory. However, many of the powerhouses in the 7 realms either perished or fell into reincarnation. This Immortal Emperor is a fallen powerhouse. Because I remember clearly at the time, this Immortal Emperor, with the strength of the Do Emperor's peak, and with the help of his powerful 10th rank Do Emperor body, forcibly dragged the two Emperor-level foreign evil races, even if they were among the 7 realms. The reputation of this Immortal Emperor is also extremely loud. The Golden Dragon King also spoke slowly, obviously remembering some unpleasant memories. Xiao Yang was also silent. Obviously, Xiao Yang knew something about what his master, the Golden Dragon King, said. Among the 7 realms, each realm is composed of countless planes, and the planes of each realm are also divided into 3 types, upper, middle, and lower. Just like the Do-Chi continent where they existed before, it was an intermediate plane. As for the current Do-D continent, it is an advanced plane. The area of Do-D continent is equivalent to 4 Do-Chi continent. Therefore, Xiao Yang is also aware of the battle of the 7 realms, and he also started the internal fight because he wanted to compete for resources and territory. However, Xiao Yang's thoughts did not stay on it for long, and his eyes returned to the statue above the main hall. Then, it should be the immortal emperor. Xiao Yang also murmured, and there was obviously a little more respect in his voice. This immortal emperor can rely on the strength of Do Di's peak to forcefully hold down the two emperor-level foreign evil races. This righteousness of giving up his life is enough for Xiao Yang to respect. I didn't expect this immortal emperor to fall here. The Golden Dragon King's voice was full of deep regret. If it wasn't for the infighting among the top powers in the Seven Realms, the original battle would not have been so tragic, and given some time to the immortal emperor, the Golden Dragon King also believed that the immortal emperor would definitely become a fighting immortal. Even stronger. It's a pity that the time does not wait for me. This immortal emperor has fallen. Although there is the immortal emperor's 10th rank Do Emperor's body here, there is no immortal emperor's inheritance. I think the immortal emperor is also to guard against foreign evil races, so the 10th rank Do Emperor's body is separated from his own inheritance. So this doesn't seem to be the place where the immortal emperor fell. The Golden Dragon King said after feeling it. Let's go. Today is to let me take out the 10th rank fighting emperor who is enough to shock the crowd, and let the light of the immortal emperor reappear. The Golden Dragon King also said, but there was a little more regret in his voice. Well. Xiao Yang also responded. Obviously Xiao Yang also knew that the fall of this immortal emperor was quite a pity. You must know that this immortal emperor can drag two foreign evil races that are comparable to the level of human fighting immortals with the strength of the peak of the emperor. If he grows up by the immortal emperor, he will be strong enough to attack the level of fighting gods. However, Xiao Yang did not hesitate, and then walked slowly towards the Golden Hall with vigorous steps. It's just that Xiao Yang didn't realize that as he got closer to the hall, the statue standing on the top of the hall slowly woke up like snow turned into ice. 1 step. Step 2. In just a few moments, Xiao Yang also came to the door of the main hall. The gate at the entrance of the main hall is 10 meters high. Looking at the magnificent gate of the main hall, Xiao Yang felt that this splendor was not the original appearance of the main hall. This golden light seems to be emanating from something. Senior, I have offended you. Xiao Yang also bowed slightly to the door of the main hall, and took a deep breath. The grudge in his body was pushed to the limit, and then both hands fiercely grasped the door handle on the door. Shabu shabu. The next moment, Xiao Yang also suddenly pulled, and suddenly, the door of the main hall, which was tightly closed, also slowly opened. Following that, an extremely ancient aura also emanated from the hall. Opening the door, Xiao Yang also walked in. The interior of the hall is extremely empty. Looking around, there is a circular hall with a radius of nearly 1,000 meters. It's just that in the main hall at this time, a golden body also slowly appeared in the center of the hall. This is. Xiao Yang also shrank his pupils tightly, obviously feeling a familiar smell from the golden body in the center of the hall. That is. The body of a 10th grade fighting emperor? Xiao Yang also murmured and looked at the center of the hall. It seems that there is a strange heat in his pupils. The immortal emperor was able to rely on the strength of the Do Emperor's peak to forcibly confront two foreign powerhouses that were comparable to the level of human Do Xian, and he must have been able to do without the credit of this 10th rank Do Emperor. You are the third person to come here. A soft voice also slowly echoed in the hall. At the same time, the door of the main hall was also closed heavily. The immortal emperor. It's such a terrifying power. However, I, Xiao Yang, have made up my mind about this 10th rank fighting emperor. Xiao Yang also gritted his teeth. The voice just now was uttered by the statue standing on the top of the hall, a remnant soul left by the immortal emperor. It's just that even a mere remnant of the immortal emperor's remnant, the pressure on Xiao Yang is really not small. Following the voice of the immortal emperor, an indescribable terrifying pressure also rushed towards Xiao Yang instantly. The terrifying pressure swept out from Xiao Yang's limbs and bones. At the same time, Xiao Yang's body suddenly collapsed, and even the ground where he was standing collapsed several meters. This immortal emperor's words, the power is so terrifying. At this time, Xiao Yang didn't care about the creaking sound of the bones in his body, because Xiao Yang also knew that the most important thing right now was the immortal emperor in front of him. Xiao Yang also felt that the power radiated by this immortal emperor was much stronger than that of the Xianling king. Faced with such a terrifying pressure, Xiao Yang gritted his teeth and looked at the figure in front of him stubbornly. It's actually a little guy in the middle stage of the 4-star Do Emperor. The immortal emperor was also extremely surprised. Xiao Yang heard the words, his face did not change color, and his footsteps were steady, and he walked up from the collapse step by step. Obviously, with Xiao Yang's strong ability to adapt, He has gradually adapted to the pressure of this immortal emperor. At least he will no longer collapse into the ground like a heavy stone on his back. It seems that this kid will not become arrogant because of our existence. The Golden Dragon King also stood aside, quite satisfied with Xiao Yang's actions. Long Yi also nodded slowly within the ancient ruler of eternal fire behind Xiao Yang, apparently agreeing with the words of the Golden Dragon King. Now Xiao Yang has the soul power of the Golden Dragon King, and he, Long Yi, exists as an artifact spirit. The Golden Dragon King had warned him before not to help Xiao Yang too much, and he still had to go on his own. Long Yi also agreed. It's just that when he hears such a gratifying voice from the Golden Dragon King now, Long Yi is also relieved, and at the same time, he also let go of his arrogance as a dragon, and prepares to concentrate on assisting Xiao Yang. After all, whether or not he can be reborn in the future depends on Xiao Yang, and he has already gambled everything on Xiao Yang. I remember 1,000 years ago, who came in an attempt to conquer my 10th rank Do Emperor. There was a 6-star Do Emperor powerhouse, and another who had reached the peak of an 8-star Do Emperor. It's been 1,000 years, and I don't know how strong these two are. Although the two of them have not conquered their own 10th rank fighting emperors, their talents are not weak, and they are also strong now. It seems to be called Old Bamboo. The other one seems to be the owner of the Burning Incense Pavilion. The Immortal Emperor also said slowly. Xiao Yang was also shocked for a short time, and then he came back to his senses and murmured to the Immortal Emperor, "Senior, the Immortal Emperor is famous, and this junior is here just to test whether he can obtain these 10 the body of the Emperor Do." Xiao Yang's voice sounded unevenly in the hall. The next moment, the golden light attached to the Immortal Great Emperor was also slowly and obviously. Instead, the Immortal Great Emperor in front of him also revealed his original appearance. Xiao Yang saw the Immortal Emperor's curly hair, and his deep pupils seemed to contain infinite power. He was dressed in a very simple cloth, and the corners of his mouth were also cracked with a charming arc, and a smile instantly filled out. But even though he is such a simple person, Xiao Yang knows how terrifying his energy is. Hey, what a brave boy. Actually, I had the idea of being a 10th rank fighting emperor. The Immortal Emperor in front of him also smiled slowly. But the strong confidence in his voice could not be concealed. Although this Immortal Emperor's remnant soul is only a remnant soul, it also exists to protect the body of this 10th rank fighting emperor. Let me ask, it would be as difficult as ascending to the sky to obtain the 10 rank Do Emperor from such a terrifying Immortal Emperor. You can enter here, of course, it is not a general generation, but it is too naive to think that if you have the qualification to obtain my 10th rank Do Emperor. The Immortal Emperor also said slowly. Hey. Xiao Yang also sighed slowly. It seems that if you don't show some strength, it is obviously impossible to obtain the 10 rank Do Emperor of the Immortal Emperor in front of him. No matter what, this junior just wants to give it a try. Xiao Yang also muttered, then stared intently at the Immortal Emperor in front of him. At such a close distance, Xiao Yang can naturally feel an extremely terrifying power from the Immortal Emperor. That power seems to be invincible, as strong as iron, and it really deserves to be immortal. What a brave boy! But courage does not mean success. The Immortal Emperor also smiled, obviously satisfied with this Xiao Yang, but he also remembered some past events. It seems that he had such courage back then. If it weren't for the foreign evil clan to attack in their 7 realms infighting, his Immortal Emperor would not have fallen. But he didn't regret it. Although he paid the price with his life, he was proud of protecting one side of the land before. Show your strengths. If you get my approval, this 10th rank Do Emperor's body will be yours. If you can't get my approval, then go out. You don't need to waste time here. Looking for a Do Emperor's body, it's not worth entering the Dodi River. The Immortal Emperor also spoke slowly. Hearing this, Xiao Yang's complexion also became heavy. The person in front of him is the power of the peak of Dodi, and he can rely on the strength of Dodi's peak to deal with 2 emperor-level foreign evil races that are comparable to human fighting immortals, even if there are remnants in front of them. Xiao Yang could not tolerate any slack in his body. Remember that this Immortal Emperor seems to have a deep connection with the Xiao family. The Golden Dragon King also stood on top of Xiao Yang's head, and then stared at Xiao Yang carefully. A person's potential can often only be continuously stimulated in constant extreme battles, and this level of battle is also the fastest way to improve Xiao Yang. Furthermore, the Golden Dragon King also wanted to see where Xiao Yang's limits were now. Xiao Yang also moved when he heard the words. On Xiao Yang's body, a terrifying milky white flame instantly attached, and then the huge flame energy also slowly gathered on the strange fire eternal ancient ruler behind him. At the same time, Long Yi on the ancient ruler of Yihuaheng also appeared. Obviously, Xiao Yang had to stand by in the face of the emperor who was as strong as the immortal. Roar. Long Yi's passionate dragon roar permeated the entire hall. It's actually a little guy with an artifact. But how does your ruler give me a familiar aura? The immortal emperor also pondered. Xiao Yang is holding the ancient ruler of eternal fire, and Long Yi is constantly surrounding the ruler of eternal fire. There is no doubt that once Xiao Yang launches an attack, the attack intensity will be even greater than before. Because in the past, most of Xiao Yang compressed his own power on the ancient ruler of eternal fire, and then burst out with terrifying destructive power. But it's different now. Long Yi has obtained the permission of the Golden Dragon King, so Xiao Yang's attack at this time will also be mixed with Long Yi's attack, and its attack strength is stronger than before. Terrifying energy appeared around Xiao Yang's body. The next moment, Xiao Yang's black pupils were tightly closed, and at the same time, an extremely terrifying wave of soul spread instantly. Huang Quan is angry. Xiao Yang suddenly opened his eyes and shouted loudly. The terrifying soul attack went against the immortal emperor. The soul attack just came to the immortal emperor, and the immortal emperor also waved it. I didn't expect it to be an extremely rare soul attack. However, the difference between our strengths is too great. Otherwise, we would have been caught. The immortal emperor spoke slowly, and with a wave of his hand, Xiao Yang's terrifying soul attack stopped instantly. The first foot of the seventh layer of breaking the sky. The next moment, Xiao Yang's roaring voice also slowly appeared in the hall. A burst of terrifying flame energy mixed with the sky and covering the earth also radiated from the ancient ruler of the different fire, and then the next moment, under the control of Xiao Yang, he attacked the immortal emperor viciously. The first level of the seven-layered sky-breaking ruler. A terrifying voice echoed in the hall, and the next moment, Xiao Yang also held the ancient ruler of Yihuaheng tightly with both hands, and then waved viciously towards the position of the immortal emperor. A terrifying flame aura with the destruction of the sky and the earth accompanied Long Yi, and also attacked the immortal emperor viciously. It seems that the immortal emperor did not deliberately resist Xiao Yang's attack, and let Xiao Yang's attack fall on his body. Boom boom boom. The terrifying 100 Zhongkaimang attacked the immortal emperor's body abruptly, and an extremely hot temperature spread throughout the hall. Explode. Xiao Yang shouted in a deep voice, and the 100 Zhongkaimang that was deadlocked with the immortal emperor suddenly exploded. Brings a monstrous flame energy. The next moment, an extremely dazzling golden light also emerged from the center of the explosion. Haha, the little guy is really a good attack method. If it were an ordinary 5-star Do Emperor, the terror would not be able to withstand your attack. The immortal emperor also spoke slowly, then smiled. Damn it. Xiao Yang also said solemnly. Although the 7th level breaking sky ruler is powerful, Xiao Yang has recently either participated in the points plundering competition or joined the super sect, so he has no time to continue cultivating the following levels of the 7th level breaking heaven ruler. According to Xiao Yang's estimation, he can now grasp the 2nd and 3rd feet of the 7th heaven shattering ruler. Of course, Xiao Yang also discovered that the first Kai of the 7-layered sky-breaking ruler was no longer powerful enough to deal with the enemies he encountered. After all, the enemies Xiao Yang has encountered so far are all stronger than Xiao Yang, and even if he is stronger than Xiao Yang, as powerful as the 5-star Do Emperor level, Xiao Yang is confident that he has the power to fight in one battle. It is just a pity that Xiao Yang's defense cannot cope with the attacks of the 5-star Do Emperor powerhouses, so now Xiao Yang every time in the battle against the 5-star Do D, if you can't kill with one hit, then Xiao Yang's waiting will be a failure. After all, Xiao Yang is not afraid of the 5-star Do D in terms of attack strength. Xiao Yang is more terrifying than the 5-star Do D. The only thing he is afraid of is that Xiao Yang's current defense is unable to withstand the attacks of the 5-star Do D. This is what caused Xiao Yang the most headache. Although your soul attack works well with this weapon's attack, your strength is too weak after all. If only by virtue of these. Then you can go back. The immortal emperor also said slowly, with an extremely terrifying pressure in his voice. Damn it. Is there no other way? Xiao Yang also muttered, obviously this immortal emperor's remnant soul, the current Xiao Yang is not enough to deal with. Xiao Yang casually held the ancient ruler of eternal fire in his right hand, and then raised his left hand, slowly stroking his forehead. Where, it seems that something is just about to move. I don't know what fighting skills this senior just displayed. Xiao Yang also wondered in his heart. Obviously, the dazzling golden light emitted by the immortal emperor just now made Xiao Yang feel like an ant, and Xiao Yang also knew that since the immortal emperor displayed that dazzling golden light, his own attack seemed to have hit. General on an indestructible stone. This is what makes Xiao Yang feel helpless, because Xiao Yang has absolute confidence. Even with his current strength, he can still leave a trace of scars on this immortal emperor. But I just don't know what's going on. The golden light that the immortal emperor just showed when he was dealing with his 7th layer breaking sky ruler seemed to be a terrifying thing. Boy, I feel that your flame is not an ordinary flame, right? But since you can come here, it's okay to tell you. The immortal emperor also laughed. Obviously, he saw Xiao Yang's question, but he was also surprised. This Xiao Yang's perception is really sharp. He just used his fighting skills. That's my famous fighting skill. Immortal golden body. The slow voice of the immortal emperor produced extreme shock in Xiao Yang's mind. Immortal emperor. Immortal golden body. At this time, Xiao Yang's mind was like a cauldron exploded. Because my master, the Golden Dragon King, explained it to me before. The immortal emperor's famous fighting skill is the immortal golden body. The horror level of this immortal golden body can be called the first person under Do D. Because the immortal golden body has no attack power, but it is more desirable than the huge attack power. The immortal golden body focuses on defense. It is a fighting skill that focuses on defense. Although there is no clear rank, but you don't need to think about it, you know that the rank of this immortal golden body can definitely be ranked in the holy rank. Moreover, the rank among the holy ranks will definitely not be low. Immortal Emperor, immortal golden body. The immortal emperor stood at the peak of the Do Emperor with his immortal golden body, and then with this immortal golden body, he also resisted 2 emperor-level foreign evil races that were comparable to the level of human fighting immortals. Immortal golden body, is a defense method close to the limit. The immortal golden body can instantly solidify one's body and become as solid as gold, and there will also be a terrifying defensive shield around the caster. When the immortal golden body appears, the caster's own defense will also instantly increase by 5 times. The Golden Dragon King also said slowly, 5 times the defense power. Xiao Yang also took a deep breath, then looked at the simple man in front of him with shock. Instantaneous increase of 5 times the defense power. What does this mean? Xiao Yang is also very clear. Taking Xiao Yang as an example, if he just used all his strength to defend and not attack, the powerhouses in the late stage of the terrifying 4-star Do D could be dragged on for a while. But if you increase your defense by 5 times, Xiao Yang also has absolute self-confidence. Even the attack of a 6-star Do D perfection level powerhouse is like tickle Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang on the Do Chi continent is full of attacking methods, and what he cultivates is also breaking out melee combat methods, striving for one-hit kills. For defense, there is also very little penetration. But when he came to Do D continent, Xiao Yang also found that without some powerful means of life-saving, it would be quite difficult to fight against some enemies at a higher level than means of attack and fighting skills. Xiao Yang also learned too much, so don't worry, it's just that what Xiao Yang lacks at the moment is the means of defense. If the major problem of defensive means is solved, Xiao Yang also has the confidence to leapfrog battles without a problem. After all, in terms of the degree of violence, Xiao Yang is not inferior to anyone. But in terms of defense, it was Xiao Yang's weakness. It's no wonder that this immortal emperor was able to use the strength of Do D's peak to hold down 2 foreign evil races that are comparable to human beings. Xiao Yang also murmured. There were a lot of shocks in his voice, but more what is respect is that such a strong powerhouse is sadly lost. Immortal golden body. Sure enough, it's a good thing. Xiao Yang also murmured. Then he also laughed, no longer covering up, his palm slightly raised, no longer covering his forehead. 3 mysterious transformations of heavenly fire. A silent voice also echoed in the hall. Xiao Yang's strength also soared in an instant, and in a blink of an eye, it was raised to the level of a 4-star Do Emperor consummation. At the same time, a wave of extreme fluctuations also emanated from Xiao Yang's forehead. This smell. Are you from the Xiao clan? The immortal emperor in front of him also slowly spit out a sentence when he saw the mysterious rune on Xiao Yang's forehead. Then the originally peaceful immortal emperor was also shocked at this time. Immortal emperor, an extremely huge force, also instantly filled the hall, and then the immortal emperor also slowly shook his head. Then he also raised his forehead, and then looked at Xiao Yang's forehead. After confirming the degree, he also said, Xiao clan. There are still descendants. Xiao Yang could also hear that there was an indescribable emotion in the voice of the immortal emperor. Senior, I've offended you. Xiao Yang also clenched his fists, and just about to launch an attack, he saw the immortal emperor in front of him slowly waving at Xiao Yang. Wait a minute. The immortal emperor also said slowly. Xiao Yang also didn't know what this immortal emperor was going to do. He just prompted his clan pattern, which was also pointed by his master Jinlongwang, so Xiao Yang did as well, but his master Jinlongwang was still watching the play. Attitude. The Xiao family is also quite helpless about this. It seems that their master, the Golden Dragon King, will only take action when his life is in danger. Xiao Yang was also puzzled. Obviously, Xiao Yang didn't think that he could fight against the immortal emperor in front of him by relying on the power of Skyfire 3 profound transformation to reach the perfection of the 4-star Do Emperor. Are you really a member of the Xiao family? The immortal emperor also muttered. Obviously, although there are clan lines on the Xiao family's forehead, the immortal emperor seems to have some doubts. The younger generation is indeed a member of the Xiao clan. The Xiao clan also said slowly, and then looked at the immortal emperor in front of him. The immortal emperor in front of him seemed to have a huge change in his mood after seeing the mysterious clan lines on the Xiao clan's forehead. It seems that her disdainful attitude towards herself has also undergone earth-shaking changes. When the immortal emperor heard this, his pupils also showed a hint of doubt, and the next moment, he suddenly came to Xiao Yang. The index finger of his right hand slowly swiped Xiao Yang's arm, and immediately a conspicuous wound appeared. 3 drops of blood flowed out, flowing directly onto the palm of the immortal emperor. CC. Xiao Yang was also a little bit in pain from this immortal emperor, so he couldn't help speaking out, but Xiao Yang also looked at this immortal emperor in doubt, not knowing what medicine this mighty god was selling. But what is even more terrifying is that when the immortal emperor came to Xiao Yang, the terrifying fluctuations from the peak of the Do Emperor were also overwhelming Xiao Yang. With the departure of the immortal emperor, Xiao Yang's complexion returned to normal. Immediately, Xiao Yang's body vindictive energy was released, and the wound on his arm immediately healed. The 3 drops of blood also slowly stood in front of the immortal emperor. The immortal emperor also controlled the 3 drops of blood, and then sniffed next to his nose. It seems that you are indeed a member of the Xiao family. The immortal emperor also laughed, but that invisible wave disappeared without a trace after the immortal emperor's voice. Even Xiao Yang felt an extremely gentle aura from the immortal emperor's body, and the Do Qi in his body was extremely greedy and attracted the golden light around the immortal emperor. I have a lot of connections with your Xiao family. Now that I have met the descendants of your Xiao clan, it can be regarded as a repayment of the kindness of your Xiao clan to me. The immortal emperor also said slowly. This. Xiao Yang also became stunned at this time. This immortal emperor is actually related to the Xiao clan he belongs to. Although Xiao Yang knew that his master Jin Longwang definitely knew something about his family's presence on the Dodi continent, but his master Jin Longwang also avoided mentioning it to himself. But even if he didn't mention it, Xiao Yang knew that on the Dodi continent, the Xiao clan seemed to be like a giant. With a giant-like existence, there are also many enemies, both overt and covert, so it makes perfect sense for his master, the Golden Dragon King, to tell him not to display this Xiao clan pattern unless he has to. After all, the enemies that their Xiao clan provoked are not terrifying that Xiao Yang can handle now. Do you want to know? The immortal emperor also said slowly to Xiao Yang, but in his voice and expression, there was obviously no meaning of rejecting people thousands of miles away. The descendants of the great emperor are ordinary. Think. Xiao Yang also said without hesitation. A lot of things require strength to know the qualifications. If his master, the Golden Dragon King, didn't say it, then this immortal emperor must know something, so Xiao Yang couldn't wait to know something about the Xiao family. Many people only know that I am the immortal emperor, but they don't know much about my birth. I was born in a weak village in the Xianling continent, and my parents died when I was young. At that time, I was still a small 6-star Do saint. At that time, I was arrogant and decided to go to the mainland. First, it was to exercise myself, and secondly, I wanted to go out and see the outside world without any worries. In the decades of the world, I traveled to the Sifang continent above the Dodi continent, and finally found a holy flame in a place called Wang Tianya above the Qianqing continent. Immortal flame. The immortal emperor also said slowly. Immortal flame. The 18th on the holy flame list, he possesses an extremely terrifying power of immortality. Xiao Yang heard the words, his pupils shrank tightly, and then he did not disturb the immortal emperor, but the shock in his heart was unparalleled. After encountering the immortal flame, it was also a coincidence. At that time, I was the only one who discovered this immortal flame, and no one else. At that time, I was already at the perfection level of the 8-star Do Emperor. Relied on his proud immortal golden body and the rarity of this holy flame, and also came up with the idea of taking it for himself. As soon as I say it, I prepared 10 days and 10 nights in Wang Tianya, and finally took the risk of introducing the holy flame into my body. In the end, I still underestimated the power of the holy flame, causing the physical body to be destroyed, and the soul power to fight against the immortal flame. It was almost close to death. Just when I was in despair, a person from your Xiao clan, an almighty Xiao Yun, also appeared, and with his strength at the level of fighting immortals, he reluctantly subdued the immortal Saint Flame. Speaking of which, you Xiao Yun are also a real power. After conquering the immortal flame finally chose me among the two of us. Your senior Xiao Yun is not at all displeased, and you are even worried about it. I condense my body, and then give me this immortal flame, so let's go away. The moment the immortal emperor spoke, his emotions were also extremely excited. This actually gave up on Sheng Yang. Xiao Yang's pupils shrank tightly at this time, and his face was full of disbelief. The rarity of the holy flame, even in comparison to the strange fire, is undoubtedly worse than that. Their ancestor of the Xiao family, Xiao Shen, actually gave up such a powerful holy flame. It's no wonder that the immortal emperor is so excited to see their descendants of the Xiao family. Let me ask if someone saves you, and then gives away the holy flame that he got. This video will end here.